In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
He's at war with woke.
Joe Concha
thinks liberals are a joke.
Joe Concha.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
So, Rick Ocasek. Nice job, Kev. The Cars. They're very, very underrated, in my opinion. Shake It Up is a great song. Drive is my favorite. I think Drive's a great song. And then obviously this one. So, unfortunately, look, when we look back on the 70s and the 80s, there were many, many great bands. I wonder if they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I think, again, here we go. 2018, the Cars were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right, good. The band reunited to perform at the induction ceremony. They broke up in 1988, but then 30 years later, then got back together. All right, awesome. Great job, Kevin, with that choice. All right, so much to talk about tonight, clearly, totally. And I'm going to start here, actually, because I like the fun stuff in terms of we have people that want to be president of the United States that really, really are not qualified to be president of the United States. And in this case, in cut number 1, Kev, here's Gavin Newsom, right, who in some polls may be leading Kamala Harris, but for the most part, Kamala Harris is now the front runner, which, again, this ain't like the 98 Bulls. We'll put it that way. Chicago Bulls, okay, or 96, those great championship teams. When your starting 5 is Kamala, Newsom, Buttigieg, AOC, and Pritzker. That's not the 98 Bulls. It's not any Bulls. It's probably like the Bulls now, because they haven't won since. Anyway, here is Newsom saying that, I went to a restaurant and people were so overwhelmed by my presence that they were crying and came up and hugged me and said, please save us. Really, cut 1, go.
This is a chill. This is chilling. This is serious. I walked into a restaurant the other day. Entire staff came out, started hugging me and crying. The hell is that?
No shot.
The United States of America.
No shot.
What he's doing to our diverse communities, what he's doing to the fabric of our society.
If this was Jeopardy, the category would be things that have not happened for 1,000, Alex. Yeah. The whole staff came out and saw Gavin Newsom, was so overwhelmed by his presence that they said, I got to hug this guy. I got to touch Jesus Newsom. Oh, my goodness gracious. Meanwhile, Mrs. Newsom, you can see why these two are a pair. Yeah, I don't even know where to go with this, except that Jen Newsom says that when she reads books to her kids, she changes the she for a he or the he for a she. Like, this is woke times 10. And if you think America is actually going to embrace this sort of couple, you are out of your mind. Cut number 2, go.
What I've done with both my daughters and my sons is if I'm reading a book and the protagonist is a male, I just change the he to a she.
Oh.
And it just normalizes for my sons in particular. I don't even just do it for my girls. I do it for my sons because I want them to see that women can be the center of a story, that women matter, that women are interesting.
No. No, just no. With my son, what I do is I'm a Bears fan, right? So we watched a great documentary on the 85 Bears. 85 Bears that no one could score upon. Not just score upon, they hurt people, like really, really bad. Wilbur Marshall, Richard Dent. You want to go down the line, Singletary, Fensick. All right. This was the most intimidating defense ever in the NFL, like bar none. That's what you show your son. Not that, when you read a book and actually the boy is the protagonist, then actually I would change it to the female as the protagonist. No. 85 Bears. Actually, 86 Giants. Right? My friend, Lawrence Taylor, which it was funny. I got a text a couple of days ago from a guy that, mutual friend of LT's, and they're out to dinner somewhere. And out of nowhere, LT said, Joe Concha, tell him I said hello. I'm like, that is awesome. Like LT wants to tell me that he is thinking of me. That is awesome. All right. We were both great pass rushers back in our day. Of course, Lawrence did it for the New York Giants. I did it for Wayne Valley High School. The point is that, again, you're going to teach your kid, your son, how to be a man. It's not the way Mrs. Newsom wants to do it. 85 Bears, 86 Giants, and a lot of Mike Tyson. A lot of Mike Tyson. Play that. Not Mike Tyson like later, like Mike Tyson in the late 80s, early 90s. Anyway, Mrs. Newsom also apparently gives her boys dolls to play with. Again, these are not people you want as far as like the Oval Office, Gavin Newsom, and then Mrs. Newsom talking to the nation about this sort of thing. This is cut number 3. Go.
I've given our boys dolls, even if they tear the head off. I've given them dolls to learn that care and caregiving is not just an activity that's reserved for women, but that it's also an activity that is a responsibility of men.
Yeah. Okay, great. Give your boys dolls. Jen Newsom. I can't wait for the 2028 election. J.D. Vance versus Gavin Newsom, which may be the case. Maybe J.D. versus Kamala Harris, which if you are a Republican, you're like, yay, give me that. But that's where we are at this point. Meanwhile, there's a record going on in California as far as Newsom, Gavin, governor, where there is some real fraud going on as far as hospice care is concerned. And out of the 3 major networks, now Fox covered it, Fox News, but that's cable. But NBC, ABC ignored the story. CBS, under Bari Weiss, did cover this, however. And this is what's going on in California right now. And it is a whole, it's like 31 flavors of delusion and fraud. Cut number 4. Go.
CBS News is first to report the arrest today of a married couple in Southern California accused of ripping off Medicare for nearly $7.5 million through a series of fraudulent hospice claims. Over 700 hospices in Los Angeles County alone have red flags for fraud, according to our investigative team. In this particular case, the flags included a 5-year survival rate of 97%, high for what is supposed to be end-of-life care. The FBI says additional arrests are expected.
Wow. Good for CBS. Good for Bari Weiss for turning that network back to what it used to be under Cronkite, as far as covering news that, yeah, Fox News covers, but ABC, NBC would not cover the story because it's a Democrat. We don't want to get him in trouble because he's about to run for, president. Meanwhile, more fun. Gavin Newsom, this is 16 years ago, 2010, talking about how there's this high-speed rail that he's going to build. That's going to be awesome. Except now, 16 years later, it hasn't been, built. Cut number 5, go.
I am sick and tired of hearing about how wonderful the transportation system is in France and Japan. And have you been to Shanghai, or you know what they're doing in Beijing? Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail. And that northern terminus will happen here.
And it never happened. Again, Newsom runs for president. I would hope that we have more Fox News and CBS in the world in terms of challenging this guy. Like you said, you had this high-speed train he spent billions of dollars on, taxpayer money, and it was never built. So what makes us think that you can actually run the country in the type of way that's efficient and what voters would expect? And right now, at this point, that just ain't going to happen. In any scenario, Newsom looks the part, right? The nice teeth, the great hair, all that stuff. But can he run the country? Absolutely not. That is certainly for certain. Meanwhile, in California, we have illegals voting in elections. There is a story out right now, right? A guy just got sent to prison for 3 years, a city councilman, Lodi County in California, who had 71 names of people that were voting in elections, all going to his address, 71. And they all voted in elections. Again, these are the people that are being caught. Can you imagine all the people that aren't being caught that are voting in elections? And you wonder when you see a result in any election and you say, how is that possible? How is it possible in New Jersey, for example, Mikey Sherrill, who apparently was neck and neck with Jack Ciattarelli until she won by 13 points in New Jersey, a very nondescript, very uninspiring candidate, Mikey Sherrill, wins by 13 points. You say, well, something doesn't feel right here. Well, of course not. And in California, again, 71 names to one address. And the guy's a city councilman. You can imagine how widespread this is once you peel off that onion. Anyway, here's Caroline Levitt talking about this in cut number 6. Cut number 6. Kev, go.
Does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Good. Go on the offense if you are the White House here, especially when it comes to Gavin Newsom, who is as cheesy and as phony as a $3 bill. That we do know. Before we go to break, let's go to Ronald Reagan, actually. I love these flashbacks. And I find these things, I'm like, wow, this guy really, obviously the Gipper, obviously a great actor. And it was Trump before Trump in terms of there is a performance aspect to being president. In other words, you have to have principles and run the country well. And obviously the economy has to be great or good. And then peace and prosperity, and just everybody feels like, okay, I'm behind this guy. At least 53% of people have to think that way. Here is Reagan, and this is a great joke, and it's probably true. Cut number 7, go.
This was a Democratic fundraising rally at a hotel, and outside, when all of them were coming out, there was a kid there with a bunch of puppies. And he was trying to sell them, and he was saying, come buy a Democrat puppy, buy a Democrat puppy. 2 weeks later, the Republicans held a fundraiser in the same hall. And there was the same kid with the same puppies. And when they were coming out, he was saying, buy a Republican puppy. Well, one of the press, a newspaper man who'd seen him 2 weeks before, said, hey, kid, wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, you were trying to sell these puppies as Democrats. What are you doing here now trying to sell them as Republicans? The kid says, now they got their eyes open.
And that was Reagan, and that's why he won 44 states in 1980 and 49 states in 1984. Oh, yeah, the whole taking down communist Soviet Union also may have played a part there in the economy being awesome and all those things. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is Concha at Night. Back with so much more in just a moment.
is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition.
Joe Concha.
Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition. Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
Drive. 1984. I'm guessing on that. Kev, confirm that for me. I'm pretty good at this stuff. You say the winter of 1984. I have no idea why I remember this or know it, but what a great song. Anyway, welcome back. It is Concha at Night. And, Bernie Sanders, not very good at predictions in general. Because this guy, when he ran for president in 2020, ran in 2016 as well, was saying that the world would end, like literally now, in 2026. If the Green New Deal was not passed, trillions of dollars spent towards the alleged climate crisis, he meant to say. Here we go. Here's Bernie. And, it's funny to listen to now, quite frankly, because number 8, go.
Telling us, the scientists are telling us that if we don't act incredibly boldly within the next 6-7 years, there will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world. Joe said it right. This is an existential threat. You know what that means, Chuck? That means we're fighting for the future of this planet. And the Green New Deal that I support, by the way, will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we move our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy.
No, 20 million jobs as a result of fighting the climate crisis. Well, that was 2020, and Bernie said we have 6-7 years before Earth will cease to exist. Well, at last check, pretty nice day out today, right? Yankees, nice opening day victory in the Bronx. Everybody seemed pretty happy. Air seems pretty clear. What a hoax. Bernie Sanders is the biggest waste of space in the entire Senate, by far, because he's been saying this for years. More government, more spending, and then uses this BS as far as there's a climate crisis. And if we don't pass the Green New Deal, then that's a big, big problem. Well, things seem to be just fine on that front. Anyway, who's going to drive you home? Thank you, Rick Ocasek. Tonight. It's Concha at Night. Back with more in a moment.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition. Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
Bring in, whoa! First the cars, of course. Now, Brianna Lyman, who's going to join us in a moment, is like, who the hell is this? What is this music? The 80s? How ancient are you, Joe Concha? But yes, here we go. Brianna, I highly suggest the next time you drive to the Jersey Shore, the Hamptons, wherever you go, put on the best of the cars and you'll be happier for it. All right? Deal? Do we have Brianna?
Oh, you got me now. Did you ask me something?
I did. Yes. We were playing the Cars. Are you familiar with this band? You do?
I'm very familiar. I was nodding my head.
Oh, all right. Good. Nodding is good. And here we go. She is the host of Countdown to Freedom on The Federalist. She's on, well, you see her on Gutfeld, right? Had a big reveal a couple of nights ago. CNN. It doesn't matter. This girl is getting booked left and right because she is interesting. Therefore, that's why she's on here tonight. So, Brianna, how are you?
I'm happy to be here, so my day's much better.
There you go. So, big plans for you tonight, I understand. You're going out in Chelsea in New York with, how many friends go to this thing? Like, what's the plan?
There'll be about 6 of us. It's an early birthday celebration for myself.
Ah, really? Now, let's see. You are, I'm guessing, got to put a number on this. 28.
I'm going to be 28, yes, next Saturday.
No, really? I swear to God, I didn't look that up.
That was impressive.
Well, thank you. 28 is a good age. My favorite was 32. At 32, you're still young enough to do stupid things, but old enough to have some money to do stupid things. So that's always a good thing. So you're getting to that point at this point. Good for you. So very good. And your friends are all taking you out tonight then?
Yes, they're a wonderful group of ladies.
Really? All right. And then where do we go? We go to a steakhouse? Like, probably not, though, right? When you're 28, you could just go to like any like dive and be happy, right?
No, so I don't drink alcohol. So I have to go somewhere where the food definitely makes up the large part of good rating. So we're going to an Italian spot.
Well, good for you. You know, I did this dry January thing just for like no reason. Like, okay, I want to lose some weight. So let me just, I don't really drink all that much anyway, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just see how this feels. Like not doing anything for an entire month. I'm now in April. Dry January became February, March, and now April. And I don't know. I got like this hourglass figure. I think I have like 8 abs at this point. Like it's really, really cool. So I'm with you. Like, don't bother with that stuff. You're a better person for it. Anyway, let's talk about the world. Where do you come down on the Iranian war right now? Less than 1 month in. Is this a success for President Trump and for the administration in general, or will this be a big, big problem going into the midterms? Go.
I think if the midterms were held today, obviously it's a major problem. I think measuring success is not fair for anybody to do on either side right now. I think, the tactical military successes are evident and you can kind of quantify those, but I don't think we'll have a real determination whether this was a smart and successful move until the end of this operation, which I hope, according to the president, will wrap up in 2 to 3 weeks. And if it does wrap up in 2 to 3 weeks, I do think that would qualify it as overly successful. It shows that we don't have to be involved in, forever wars, and we can still get things done. But again, a lot remains to be seen as to whether we will meet all the objectives he laid out the other night.
We're talking to 27-year-old Brianna Lyman, who will turn 28 very shortly. Either way, it doesn't matter when you're 27, 28. Most of our audience, trust me, is like, I've killed to be 27 or 28 at this point. Anyway, that's the thing, right? I wrote a story today for the Washington Examiner. As far as Kalshi, they are like one of the betting markets, right? It's Polymarket and Kalshi. And Kalshi now at this point has Democrats having the best chance to win the House, the Senate, and the White House by 2028. And then I laid out the scenarios around, oh boy, what if this happens? If they control everything, they'll nuke the filibuster. We'll have 2 more states in terms of D.C. and Puerto Rico. We'll have an expanded Supreme Court that will look like a basketball roster, if not more of a baseball roster. And then nationalize elections where literally 16-year-olds could vote. All these things will happen if that scenario happens. The question is, are Republicans outside of Trump doing the job that they should as far as expressing why their party and their approach is better than Democrats? I'm not so sure that's happening at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. And I think if it were happening, Republicans still might have a fighting chance because according to, I think it was Real Clear Politics Average, Democrats are Republicans by about 4 to 6 points. That is historically narrow in a midterm year, right? You would want to see bigger margins. And the reason Democrats don't have those bigger margins is because they're still really unpopular. They haven't changed position on any of the policies that cost them in 2024, which also means that voters haven't changed their mind on immigration, on the border, on things like that. And so Republicans have an opportunity for the next 6 months to finish pursuing President Trump's 2024 agenda, deliver the results that they promised Americans, and still point out that Democrats are still pro-transing children. They still want to cleave healthy breast tissue off young girls. They still want to flood the country with illegal aliens. They want to end Trump's border wall. They have not changed. And so I think, going back to the Iran war topic, if we can wrap this up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, even the next 4 weeks, that gives President Trump and Republicans about 6 months of strong, focus on domestic issues, on bringing gas back down to what it was months ago under President Trump, and reminding voters that it's Democrats that are still the crazy ones.
That's the thing, right? I mean, Democrats for 4 years under Joe Biden all supported the Inflation Reduction Act, which, again, did nothing to reduce inflation. We had an open border, all these things. It seems like every policy issue, as far as immigration, as far as economy, as far as taxes, are on the Republican side. Yet it seems like this is a 50-50 toss-up in terms of who will be in control after 2026 in those midterms. All right, so we're going to have some fun here, Brianna, okay? Because I could do the serious stuff all day long, but I was playing Would You Rather with my kids last night, which is a great, great game. All right, so I'm going to give you, 5 questions for Brianna, okay? Would you rather? All right, let's do it. Would you rather accidentally like an old photo of your ex on Instagram or accidentally send a sext to your mom? Go.
Old photo of my ex.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you involve mom in this stuff, that's a very bad thing. All right, let's see. Would you rather own a car with a horn that plays YMCA or a car with your kid's favorite character? Well, you don't have a kid, but let's say you have like a niece. Fine. With your niece's or nephew's favorite cartoon character painted on the side.
I'm going to go with the YMCA. I mean, that is the jam of the past 2 years.
Interesting. I agree with that. And I saw it up front at Mar-a-Lago. I was at the president's table for New Year's Eve. Yeah. And he gets up and does like the YMCA. And Melania almost shakes her head like, I got to get up and do this too. Like this guy really likes this song. And obviously it's done good things for him. All right. This is a great one. Would you rather look at your mom's internet search history or your dad's search history?
My mother. She's a saint.
She's a saint. Okay. Dad, not so much.
I don't know.
You just don't know, right? Okay. Very good. Let's see. Would you rather have everyone be able to read your thoughts or everyone to have access to your internet history?
I'm going to go with access to my internet history.
Yeah, I agree with that. Your thoughts are much, much more probably dark and like evil.
They're
right?
not yours. More problematic for some people.
Yes, I can see that. All right, very good. Let's see. Let's find a good one here. Would you rather give up traveling or celebrating holidays?
I've only just recently gotten the travel bug, so I think I could do without travel because I love the holidays. I can see my family. It's a good thing to celebrate Jesus, like this weekend, for example, so couldn't give it up.
I'm with you. Traveling is exhausting. It really is. I come back and I need a vacation from my vacation. It's like, all right, that was fun. Like I went to Norway last year. It was like a kind of a work thing, I guess. And I got back. I'm like, oh man, I need a week just to like get over this. But then I had to go work again. So you never quite know. All right. One more for you, Brianna, and then we'll let you go. All right. Would you rather spend a year entirely alone or a year without a home?
A year alone.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I can do without
really
a phone.
Alone. Right. Yeah. Well, Elon Musk doesn't have a home. He kind of crashes at everybody's places. Yeah,
but he has that travel bug. I bet he's staying in hotels here and there. He's not sleeping on the streets when he's traveling.
All right, good point. All right, I need one more from you. Would you rather have to work the most miserable job imaginable for a year or die 1 year earlier?
Oh, wow. I guess die 1 year earlier and hope that I spend a year doing something I love at a job I love.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we have jobs we love, right? Like, can you believe this is a job? Like, you at the Federalist, and you're on national television. You know, you're battling, folks on CNN. You're on Fox News and Gutfeld, and I'm sure you get like 1,000 like texts and all that stuff like through the DMs when you're on Fox at any time. But I don't consider it a job. I'm like, they're paying me. This is insane. I mean, we chose the right profession, I think I'm trying to say, Brianna.
I totally agree. I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like I'm going to work. I just we're fighting the good fight for America. Let's do it. And I'm getting paid for it.
Indeed. All right. So you're out tonight. Congratulations. Really appreciate you joining us, Brianna. It's 9 o'clock here, or at least 9:30 anyway, and another time. But have fun tonight in Chelsea, and we'll talk to you again soon. Happy 28th. Wow, you're an old woman at this point. Congratulations.
Don't remind me, Joe. I don't want to think about it.
Oh, trust me. When you're 48, you're going to be like, I'd kill to be 28. We talked about that before. All right, Brianna. You have a good night. Brianna Lyman of the Federalist, thank you so much. All right, there she goes. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is Concha at Night. We'll wrap this puppy up in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition.
Joe Concha.
Sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
Welcome back, everybody. So, I heard this. Honestly, I'm going to give Sid Rosenberg, our morning host, total and complete credit on this one. But with a disclaimer, I wanted to play this going into Easter weekend as far as Sebastian Maniscalco, I think, is a top 5 comedian of all time. If you want to rate him right now, I guess it goes, let's see, number 1. You want to go Carlin, I guess, right? Maybe. I think it's all even. Eddie Murphy in his prime was awesome. Chris Rock was awesome. Ricky Gervais, I think at award shows, is number 1. Maniscalco. And then if you want to go, Elias, who am I missing here? Is for Richard Pryor? I don't know. I wasn't around for Pryor, but he was excellent. You could go through the whole list. The point is that Maniscalco, when talking about Passover meal, I'm like, I so want to play this going into this weekend. And then sure enough, I'm listening to Sid, and then Sid plays the clip. I'm like, son of a, he beat me. So Sid got there first. I will give him attribution, but trust me, this is so classic that I think that every radio host that knows their stuff will play something like this. And this is Passover meal for an Italian married into a Jewish family. And it's the greatest thing of all time. Cut number 9, Elias, go.
But Italians and Jews, very similar. People say same corporation, different division. All right? We get along. There's an obvious, thing with the religion. I went to my first Passover dinner. That's what she's like, well, my mother's going to have Pass. Okay, we'll go to the dinner. 7:30, we sit down at her mother's house. I'm starving, right? Starving. Yeah. They start passing out pamphlets like reading material. I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing here? What's with the... She's like, no, we read for 2 hours. 2 hours? I said, listen, I'm Italian. As soon as I sit at a table, I got to have bread within 15 seconds of sitting.
Yeah.
All right? I need something to do with my right hand. I need some oil coming out. We got oil? I need oil. Now.
Need oil. Yeah.
Hungry. And the food they start bringing out, oh God, terrible food. Jews have no idea what the hell they're doing in the kitchen. These people have no cuisine. Celery, crackers, jam. I'm like, what is it? We're losing. People are leaving. We need food.
Well,
after breakfast, they fall apart, the Jews. After a bagel, a cream cheese, lox, where are they going? They got nothing. They have nothing.
Okay.
Has anybody ever said to you, we went to this Jewish restaurant?
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
The gefilte, amazing. I respect the Jews, but let's just have the Italians cater the Passover meal. All right? Come on.
Yeah.
I could read for a couple of hours with some meatballs on the table.
That's great stuff. It really is great. Maniscalco, the best. And he's going to be on this show soon. I've been talking to his people. Trust me. Within 2 weeks, we'll have Sebastian on Concha at night. Meanwhile, Jamie Dimon, not exactly a comedian, but the guy who's run JP Morgan for many, many years. And I respect the guy. You know, I see him interviews all over the place, whether it be on Fox, whether it be on CNBC. He seems very comfortable in his own skin. And you could detect this with certain people. When some folks are on the air, you can tell that they've been given talking points and they're just going to spew whatever they were told to say. Jamie Dimon, different story. And I've, talked to a couple of people that think that he could run for president as a Democrat, which, again, I'm not so sure he's a Democrat, but he is electable. We'll put it that way. Anyway, here's Jamie Dimon talking about in New York, for example, all the people he's lost at JP Morgan headquarters here in the city that have left for Texas and vice versa, and how people vote with their feet. Nothing truer has ever been said. Cut number 10, go.
Why are you buying more real estate in Mamdani's Manhattan right now?
He wasn't the mayor when we started building that building 5 years ago. But here's a lesson, and this lesson is true for companies, cities, states, and countries. You got to compete. There's no divine right to success. Just read the history books. So our head count in Manhattan, when I got to JP Morgan, was 35,000, and now it's 26,000. Our head count in Texas started at 11,000, now it's 33,000. That's what happens. And, part of it is the highest individual taxes, highest estate taxes, highest corporate taxes, anti-business sentiment, and that's what happens. And, you can be any ideologue you want, but that's the real world. And people vote with their feet.
They vote with their feet. You hear those numbers? You had 35,000 people at JP Morgan, a couple of friends of mine included, that were working in New York, and then suddenly it dropped by 10,000. 10,000. Meanwhile, Texas increased by 10,000. Two of my friends that work for JP were people that were happy in New York, I guess, during Giuliani and during Bloomberg. And then suddenly, when things changed, they said, you know what, why am I paying all these taxes? I'm working my ass off, and I got to stay here and pay for, I don't see the return on investment. One moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and the other one moved to Austin, Texas. And they bust my chops saying, what are you doing staying in New Jersey, in that area? You're an idiot. And I can't even, have a retort to that. But I have kids that are in school and they're in sports and they got friends, and I got family here. My dad, my mother-in-law, my sister, my brother, my wife's family. We can't leave. But trust me, if we had the ability and we didn't have these obligations, it's not an obligation. I don't know. It's family. We'd go in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. North Carolina, South Carolina, no question. Anyway, this has been Concha at Night. This is Joe Concha. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a happy Easter, and we'll join you on Easter, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, here on WABC in New York and on stations around the country. Until then, I got two words for you. Bye-bye.